Well, good morning and welcome to the Thrive Chapter Spotlight. Today we are in Isaiah chapter 54. In this chapter, we see the promise for restoration for Israel. In verses 1 through 3, God compares Israel to a woman who is barren. He tells her to prepare her tents, for it will be inhabited by her descendants. We see that she is a woman who is in the midst of sadness and brokenness because she has not been able to bear a child. Yet God is giving a promise that her tents will be full. He tells her that in this moment of brokenness, she is to burst into song and to shout for joy. So here, ladies, I want to pause and ask the question, do you find yourself in a time of brokenness, a time of sadness or destruction right now? I know it's really hard to stop and look at our circumstance and to imagine God telling us to burst into song or to shout for joy in this moment of brokenness and sadness. But ladies, as we continue reading, we see that God promises restoration. Let's read verse 4. It says, "Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore." You see, the Lord is telling them, do not be afraid. You will not be put to shame. Do not fear disgrace, for you will not be humiliated. Wherever God has you today, ladies, He is saying these words to you as well. And in verse 5, He is reminding us of who He is. He says, "For thy Maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is His name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth, shall He be called." In verses 7 through 10, in my King James Cross-Reference Study Bible, it tells us in the student edition that God seemed to abandon His people and seemed to have hidden His face for a short time because He was angry with where He saw Israel to be. You see, the people were sinful and they were not repenting. God compares this in verses 7 through 10 as in the times of Noah. But He reminds the people of Israel of the promise He gave, and He tells them that He will show them compassion and kindness. He says that His covenant will not be removed and that His unfailing love will not be shaken. And that promise still remains for us today. In verses 13 through 17, God also promises to protect His people. Let's read verse 17. It says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn." And I like it here because in my study Bible, the word "that" is italicized, because God's not saying if a tongue is going to rise against you. He's saying a tongue will rise against you in judgment, and He will condemn it. "This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord." So He's saying that as Christians, things are going to come against us, but as Christians, we know that they will not come against us and win. And so when we are facing these hard times of trials, destruction, and brokenness, are we looking to give God the glory for where He has us and for what He is doing? Or are we just looking to God saying, fix it? We go through trials so that we can gain patience and perseverance, and that we can grow deeper in our relationship with the Lord. So ladies, I encourage you to look at where God has you this week. What situation are you facing? And are you asking God, what is it He is trying to teach you? How is He trying to grow you? How is He trying to restore you? Or are you just asking God to fix it? Lord, ladies, I pray that you keep reading with us, and I hope you have a good week. Thank you.